Scott's lecture. So, you know, Scott Humphrey really needs no introduction. We all know who Scott is. Scott has been very active in the
Hi.
Ridge community for
I'm
many
on a Zoom
years,
call and
teaching
I
Ridge classes,
don't have
which
any audio from
many
my
of us
phone.
have attended, including me. I know we can raise our hands, all of us who's attended his classes. He's been directing club, unit, and tournament games for a long time. He has achieved several awards, just to mention Texas Star, the Oswald, James Jacoby. He is also a member of the National Goodwill Committee. Scott is the Southwest Area Manager for the ACBL, as well as the Tournament Sanction Coordinator for District 16. Scott has a great gift, the ability to teach and direct with expertise, compassion, and wonderful sense of humor. We are grateful that Scott has taken time out of his very busy schedule to give this lecture today. So without any further ado, Scott Humphrey.
Thank you, Linda. And, you know, since the directors have been in dry dock for quite a while, we're asked to do a lot of different things. Most of the directors work on BBO, but I'm working mostly on cheating cases. So it's really nice to be in a Zoom meeting, not proving how somebody cheated recently and giving a lesson again. So it's very nice to be back in this mode. So what we're going to talk about today is secondhand play. I think that secondhand play is not discussed often enough. It's an important part of defense. And I think that there'll be, hopefully you'll see some little nuances today that perhaps you hadn't seen before. Most of you know the rule of secondhand play and thirdhand play. We're told secondhand low, thirdhand high, which is still a good general rule. So let's talk about the general rule of secondhand low. Why do you play secondhand low? The first reason that you do is you want to conserve your high cards. If the declarer plays a small card and it's your turn to play and you fly ace, what you're going to do is you're going to promote the declarer's high cards more rapidly because you contributed the ace so quickly. What you want your high cards to do is capture some of your opponent's high cards and in the process set up either some of the cards in your hand or your partner's. So if the declarer plays low, you put up the ace, it's highly unlikely that the declarer is going to contribute a high card from the dummy just so your high cards can catch some of his. He'll obviously play low, and that's not good for you. So what we'll do is we'll start with some basic examples of secondhand low play. So James, we can go ahead and take a look at the first set. So yeah, if we put the examples on the screen, please, thank you. When we practiced this, it went absolutely perfectly. But now that it's time to go, here we are.
Hang on, I'm sorry, I'll get it together here. I thought that I had both of them shared and.
Well, I'm glad to hear your voice. So,
well, I had myself on mute, so I was going, wait. And then of course he couldn't hear me. So hang on, here we go. Let's get the examples.
okay, thank you. All righty, so here's the first example. Well, the asterisk card is the 2. It doesn't really matter what suit this is, but let's say that the declare starts with the 2. So we're going to start with the fact that we think secondhand low is the right thing to do. But let's say that you are skeptical about that and you play secondhand high, which would be the ace. If you do that, the next example shows what we're left with. And as you can see, the declarer is going to win 2 tricks if you fly ace. The declarer will get the king and queen of the suit. Okay, well, let's say you're sort of believing me, but not 100% believing me. Maybe you think I can play the middle one instead. Kind of meet me halfway between high and low. Well, if you were to play the 10 instead of the ace, that's going to take out the dummy's king. But now the declarer could start from the dummy. No matter what your partner plays, if the declarer puts in the queen, you're going to have to play your ace anyway. So even though it would have taken the declare a little bit longer to make 2 tricks out of it, you would still succeed in doing it because you put in your middle card rather than playing low. So now let's go to the last example. When you do play low, if you play low, it's going to take out the dummy's king. And don't forget, he's always entitled to at least 1 trick. If between the declare and the dummy, he has the king and the queen, he always gets 1 trick out of it. But now if he leads off the table, your ace and 10 are behind his queen and 9, and he gets only 1 trick, which was the number of tricks to which he was entitled. Can we stay with the examples, please?
Sorry.
Probably.
Ooh, yours is terrible.
What? Yeah. By the way, James, if you just want to stay on the example side, I can just talk about what's in my notes, and then we can come back here. It might make it a little bit easier for you. Okay, so I think we're scrolling a little further down from here. We just completed this example. Okay, I want to go through a couple more of them. Okay, so once again, let's talk about the importance of second hand low. Let's say that the declare starts with a 2, and instead of playing the 4, you jump up with the ace. Now you're thinking, well, my partner has the king. Maybe that's not such a bad thing to do. But now, as you'll see, if you fly with the ace right away and the declare plays the suit 1 more time, the dummy's jack will drive out the partner's king, and the declare would have won 1 trick suit. In reality, the declare is entitled to nothing, because as we go down the page a little bit, if instead you play low, that's going to force the dummy's jack, and your partner's going to play the king. So your partner will have won the first trick, but now, as you can see, your ace 10 are behind declare's queen 9, and he cannot produce any tricks. So by playing low, declare 0 tricks out of the suit instead of the 1 trick that you gave him by playing the ace. Let's continue. Okay, so now on this one, as you can see, if the declare starts with a 2 and you panic a little bit and say, well, he's got the queen, I've got the king, I had better take the king, you're going to find out that all he needs to do is play the suit 1 more time, because either his queen or his jack will drive out your partner's ace, and that will produce a trick for him. Okay, let's go on, please. And the last example is a finesse. Now, you know perfectly well that your king is in the pocket, but let's say the declare only had a singleton. If you were thinking, well, it doesn't make any difference, I may as well play the king. Well, he makes 3 tricks out of it. But if you play low, he can finesse 1 time with the jack, and he's always entitled to the 2 tricks, but he won't make the 3rd trick because you didn't put the king up right away. And let's go to the next one. The declare plays the 2. If you're thinking to yourself, you have to play the king to drive out the ace, well, you're going to lose whatever trick that you had in the suit, because the king will drive out the ace, but then if the declare plays the 10 of diamonds and your partner doesn't cover, he can duck and make a trick out of that, and then the 9 to the queen, and he makes 3 tricks out of it. Whereas if you play low, he'll play the 9 probably, and your partner will play the jack. Of course, if he goes up with the ace, then your king is good. But no matter what he does, as long as you play low, you're going to make 1 trick out of it. Whereas if you've gone ahead and played high, that would, you lose all the tricks that you have. Okay, you just keep the examples up there, James. You don't have to go back to the lecture notes. Okay, now, supposing the dummy leads a low card, it's not quite as clear to you that playing second hand low is important, but all the same principles work. Once again, playing low works because if you go ahead and play high, you're going to set tricks up, even the tricks that you can't see. You might lose a trick for your side, or sometimes they'll make it too easy for the declare. Now, sometimes you realize you have a card that could be finessed, but still playing low is the right thing, because it is possible that the declare might be able to finesse your card 1 time, but he may have to go back to the dummy and repeat the finesse. And the declare may not have the entries to the table to do it. Or if you force the declare to do it, to take that finesse, well, now he might have wanted to get back to the table to do other things. So by playing the high cards right away, you really help the declare out quite a bit. So let's take a look at our examples. Okay, in the first one, you can see that the 3 is led from the table, and you have the king 9-5. Now, even if you think that your king is in the finessing position, if you play low, the declare can win the queen, but your partner's behind him with the jack. So if the declare plays the ace, now your king will set up. Whereas if you just jump up with the king right away, the declare could play the ace, play the queen, and pick up your partner's jack, and then we'll win the entire suit. So by playing low in this combination, you ensure your side one trick, whereas if you play high, you might lose all the tricks. And in the second example, here you are, you feel like you're a sitting duck because you have the king, but when dummy plays low, as long as you play a low card, if the declare plays the 10, partner's going to win the queen. And if the declare gets back to the table, he can repeat the finesse, but at least you will have won the queen. On the other hand, if you play high and put up the king, now declare plays the ace and your partner's queen crashes and the whole suit comes in. So even if you feel like you're getting finessed, playing low is still an important principle. Next. This is a very important combination right here. The declare has the king jack. So if he plays low from the table and you play the ace, you've taken all the guesswork out of the suit. If you play low, now he's going to have to figure out whether he should play the jack or play the king. Now, is it possible the declare is going to get it right and play the king? Yes. But why not make the declare work for it rather than donate the answer to him by playing the ace? Let's go to the next example. Okay, so here's the situation where your ace is in front of the declare's king queen. The declare is entitled to 2 tricks in the suit as long as he finesses you twice. So now if you play low, excuse me, if the dummy plays low and you put up the ace right away, now you've done all the dirty work for the declare because you've set up the 2 cards. Whereas if you play low after the dummy plays the 2, yes, the declare will win the queen, but if he wants to score his king, he's going to have to find some way to get back to dummy and to repeat the finesse. And you should make him do that because he might have a lot of work on this hand to do. And there may be many, many reasons why he wants to go to the dummy. But if you require him to go to the dummy one more time so he can score a second trick, then maybe he won't be able to do something else that he was intending to do by using an entry in the dummy. On the other hand, if you go ahead and put up the ace right away, he doesn't have to get back to the table to collect 2 tricks. And now you've improved the timing on his hand because he can go back to dummy and take care of other matters there. Now we'll take a look at the last hand. So most people who would have this combination, they have 9 cards to the ace king, unless they have some other compelling reason to do otherwise, they would probably play the ace and the king and hope that the queen will drop. So that's why it's critically important for you to play low on this combination. If you were to go ahead and play high, it just gives everything away and the declare doesn't have to work for it. Now, does this mean that you can stop the declare from winning 5 tricks in the suit? No, it doesn't. If the declare predicts that you have the queen, he can go ahead and take the finesse. But once again, you want to make him work for it. You don't want to just give it away. All righty. And as we go on here, now as you can see on this next example, if the dummy plays low and you play low, you're going to wind up picking up the entire suit. There's no card the declare can play to pick up the whole suit. And even if the declare can pick it back to the dummy, it's not going to help him if he leads towards the dummy. On the other hand, if you put up your queen right away, the declare plays the king and your partner plays the ace, and now the jack is set up on the table. So the declare is going to make 1 trick out of this suit, but the declare never should have been able to make any tricks out of the suit. So now you're seeing that even if the lead is coming from the dummy, playing low is the thing to do. All righty. So now, is it always correct to play low? Are there ever times that you should not play low? Well, obviously the answer to that question is yes. Otherwise, that would end my presentation. I'm supposed to take longer than 15 minutes. So the answer has to be yes to get us through. So why might you not play second hand low? Well, if you're taking the setting trick, that might be a time to do it. I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but sometimes I can see that I can set the contract. I think, well, maybe if I don't take this trick, maybe I can set it by 2. But then all of a sudden, going down 1 becomes making the contract, and you have a really, really hard time explaining to your partner why you didn't take the setting trick. Also, it could be a trick that goes away. Now, let me give you the most obvious example. Supposing the king is built in the dummy and you have the ace. What I don't want to happen after this presentation is you have the ace and then you play low, and then your partner says, why didn't you take your ace? Well, because Scott said you always play low, so this is his fault. That's not right. Obviously, when you can see the trick is going to go away, sometimes you have to go high. Another example of when you might go high is if he's playing in a suit contract and he leads towards the queen and you have the king. If you suspect that he has the ace doubleton, you may have to go up and take the king. So these examples are one-dimensional, but sometimes there are other factors that are going on in the hand that would cause you to break the general principle of second hand low. And of course, that will happen from time to time. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is called splitting your honors. The rest of the presentation is going to be present times when you don't go second hand low, but there is a theme to it. I think we have to, oh yeah, we're in the right place. That's right. Go to the bright line right there. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, that's it right there. It keeps moving on my screen. What I'm looking at is right below the dark line where the dummy has the ace 10-2. Stop there. Don't go high, don't go low. There you go. All right. As you can see in this example, if the declare plays low and you follow the general principle of second hand low and the declare shrugs his shoulders and puts in the 10, the declare is going to win 2 tricks in this suit because you didn't do what's called splitting your honors. Splitting your honors means that you have a sequence of honors. It could even be a sequence of 2 in some cases. And just like on opening lead, you know that you lead the top of a sequence. Sometimes when you're playing second hand, you play the bottom of your sequence to split the honors. And as you can see in this case, what you have to do is put in the jack, which will drive out the ace and set up 2 tricks for you. Whereas if you played low and the dummy on a lark plays the 10, you would lose one of those tricks. So going to the next example, as you can see, you have the queen jack over here. This is going to be another example of splitting your honors. If the declare plays low, the dummy has the 10 and the ace. So what you should do to ensure that you make a trick in this suit is you play the jack. Your jack will drive out the ace, but eventually when the declare leads the suit again, your queen will set up. So this is an example of when you don't want to play second hand low, because if you play second hand low, the declare might put in the 10, which by the way is not as unlikely as the prior example. There may be other reasons why the declare is putting in the 10 for timing, but you'll lose the trick if you don't split your honors. Okay, now we're going to do the next example. So I'm going to ask, I want you to think about this just for a moment. You should split your honors in this case. And the answer to this question is no. Well, now in the prior example, I told you to split your honors, and in this one, I'm telling you not to. What is the difference between the two? The answer is that in the first example, the dummy had 1 card lower and 1 card higher than your 2 honors. In this case, the dummy has 2 cards higher than your honor and 1 card lower. The reality is that the declare is entitled to win all the tricks in this suit. Now, if you were to split your honors and then the declare wins the king, if the declare comes back to his hand and the declare plays low and you play low, the declare will know that you split your honors the first time because you didn't play second hand low the first time. Now the declare is going to know to put in the 10, and the suit is going to come in. Now, can the declare win all the tricks in the suit? Yes, he can. But in order for the declare to win all the tricks in the suit, he's going to have to put in the 10 the first time. If he puts the 10 in the first time, he's going to win all of them. He was entitled to win all of them. We congratulate him on his good declare play, but at least you didn't give it away by splitting your honors. The split of the honors is a dead giveaway that you have both of them. Whereas if you very calmly play low, the declare may not work out the position and you may wind up winning a trick. So this is another example of, yes, the declare can pick up the suit, but no, let's not make it any easier for the the declare to do it. So once again, the thing that I point out to you is you don't split your honors when the dummy has two cards high, directly higher and one directly lower. He's effectively sandwiched you in. But if it's one higher and one lower, you do split your honors because you can make the trick. Okay. All right. So now let's take a look at this one. Do you split your honors in this case? Well, remember what I just told you a moment ago. If the dummy's got one higher, one lower, you split. If the dummy's got two higher and one lower, you don't. Well, in this case, it's one higher, one lower. So yes, you do. The declare plays the 2 and you stick in the 10. That will drive out the dummy's queen. Your partner will win the ace. And on the way back, your jack is going to be a good card. And your side will make 2 tricks in this suit because you correctly split your honors. On the other hand, if the declare plays low, and if you fidget a little bit and play low, the declare is going to know what's going on. He'll put in the 9, and that will drive out the partner's ace. And there you go. 2 tricks will go to the declaring side, but they were not entitled to them. They got them because you failed to split your honors. Next, please. Okay. Now, when I started talking about this, I talked about this is similar to leading the top of sequences. Splitting honors does not necessarily mean they're sequential honors. You can split honors that are non-sequential. And this is an example of that. You play, the declare plays the 2 from the table. If you were to play low, the declare could insert the 9. And if the declare happened to do that, he would win all the tricks in the suit. So in order to prevent declare from doing that, you put in your 10. You split your separated honors. That will drive out the ace, but it will guarantee you that you will make the queen on the way back. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. Keeping in mind what I've told you before, ask yourselves, is it correct to split the honors in this case, or is it not? The correct answer in this case is no. Why is it we don't split the honors in this case? We'll go back to the rule that I gave you originally. I told you to split your honors if the dummy had one higher and one lower. But when the dummy has 2 higher and 1 lower, you don't do it because the dummy has basically sandwiched your honors. And the reality is the declare is entitled to win the entire suit if he plays it correctly. But if you split your honors, you're going to give away your position. It's going to make it really easy for declare. So let me tell you what I would have the expectation would happen on this hand. I know, absent any other information, if I were playing this suit, I would play the my left-hand opponent for having the ace, and I would lead up to the king. But of course, as it turns out, the ace is on the wrong side. And when I lead up to it again, you'll put in your 10, the queen will come out, and then the jack will win. I think that's the way most people would play the suit. Now, on the other hand, if you're thinking split your honors, split your honors, split your honors, here's what's going to happen: is you're going to play the declare, play the 2, and you're thinking, I've got to split my honors. You put in the 10, the dummy plays the king, and your partner plays the ace. Well, now on the way back, when he plays low and you play a low card, the declare is going to know that you errantly split your honors, and now he's going to put in the 9, and he's going to make 2 tricks out of this. So by splitting your honors, it was a dead giveaway what your position was. What you need to do is very calmly play low. Now, if the declare were to put in the 9, is he going to win all the tricks? Yes. But I think maybe the declare might have a periscope or something like that, because that's a really weird play to be making. But it is possible to do it. But on the other hand, like I said, the whole idea is to make it as hard as you can for the declare. If the declare puts in the 9, your partner wins the ace, I'm less reluctant to congratulate on him. But I think something funny is going on. And believe me, having done all these cheating cases, I see a lot of funny things. Okay. But anyway, I hope that I've given you at least some guidance about when you split your honors. 1 higher, 1 lower, split. 2 higher, 1 lower, don't split. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is covering honors. What this has to do with, most of our examples so far, actually, I think maybe even all of them, have been when the declarer leads a low card. But now we're going to go into times when the declarer is going to lead a high card. And the question is, do you cover honors with honors? Now, first of all, why do we talk about doing this? Because if you cover an honor with an honor, what it's going to do is it's going to wipe out 2 of your opponent's high cards, and you may set up a trick for yourself. You may also wind up setting up a trick on your side as well, in your own hand as well. But we don't cover honors with honors if it's going to set up tricks for the opponent's side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through some examples and find out, do we cover an honor with an honor? So now we start with a really easy one where the declare leads the queen from the dummy, and here you are with King Jack 10. What the declare is trying is what's called a Chinese finesse. It's a finesse that you take that no matter who has the king, it should fail as long as you cover. And of course, you know to cover because you have the Jack 10. When the declare plays the queen from the table, it should do nothing to promote anything on his side, but should promote things on your side. So if you cover the queen with the king and declare takes the ace, you can quite easily see that that's going to set up 2 cards in your hand. Now, let's say that the Jack and 10 were in your partner's hand. So let's go to the next example. So now when the dummy leads the queen, you still cover with the king. Because like I said, you take out 2 of his honors for the price of your 1. Your king takes out his queen and ace, and you're hoping that at least 1 card will get set up in your partner's hand. But as it turns out, it was a really bad finesse for the player to take, and it set up 2 over in your partner's hand. So even if you can't see the cards that you're setting up, go ahead and cover the honor with the honor, because you might wind up setting up something in your partner's hand. Now, in that last example, I showed you a very, very poor finesse to take. This finesse is not quite as bad because the declare really does have the Jack. But even though the declare has the Jack, you should still cover in this case, because notice what happens. If the dummy plays the queen, you cover the honor with the honor. That takes out declare's ace, and you've taken out 2 for the price of 1. Now you have set up the declare's Jack, but you've also set up your partner's 10. So you might not set up tricks as quickly as you would like to, but by covering the honor, you did it. Now let's think about what happens if you don't cover it. If you play the queen, and if the dummy plays the queen and you play low, the declare is going to play his 9, and that's 1 trick for his side. Now he plays low from the dummy, and you play low again. Playing the king's not going to help anymore. And now the declare plays the Jack, and now he plays the ace. So as you can see, by playing low, he won 3 tricks. But as I demonstrated to you earlier, by covering that honor, he only won 2. Now, as we take a look at the next example, I'm going to go back to a principle I talked about a moment ago. Don't cover the honor with an honor if you can see that it's going to set up tricks for your opponent's side. As you can see, the dummy has the queen, Jack 10 of the suit, okay? Now remember, on an earlier example, we covered the king because we have the Jack and the 10 in our own hand. In another example, we covered the king because we were hoping that our partner had the Jack or the 10 or both. In this case, he did. But do we visualize our partner having the Jack and 10 here? Well, no, we don't. We don't visualize because we can see the Jack and 10 in the dummy. So this is an example of when you don't cover an honor with an honor. Now the declare is going to try to go into it, but you should still duck. And maybe the declare might even play the Jack just to see if he can get 1 extra trick out of it, but you duck 1 more time. Even if the declare has ace 3rd, you still have to keep on ducking, because if you cover, it's going to start setting up tricks in the dummy. Whereas if you keep ducking, let's say that the declare had a 3rd trick. Well, he didn't lose any tricks in the suit, but he didn't set anything up either because you held out. He's going to have to actually expend an entry to get to those last 2. So when you can see that you're going to set up tricks for the opponent's side, you don't make the cover, okay? Now, the last area that I'm going to be covering is when you're dealing with multiple honors in the dummy. So what we're talking about here, let me take you back a moment. You can remember in a prior example where the dummy had queen little and you had king little, and I said you cover it. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to go back up the page. You covered it. But what if the dummy has the queen and the Jack? Do you cover or don't you? And the answer to that question is it depends. It depends on how many times the honors have been played. So here is my general rule of thumb for you about playing, about when to cover when there's more than 1 honor in the dummy. The rule of thumb is called last honor out. What last honor out means is when the declarer plays the first honor from the table, you don't cover it. But when the declarer plays the last honor in the suit, you do cover it. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. Let's say that the declarer played the queen, okay? Now you go ahead and cover it with your king. Great. Won the trick. He declared didn't even have the ace. But now take a look what's going on here. Your partner has the ace. Your partner still has the ace and 10 over there. And if the declarer leads from his hand towards the queen, now he has set up the jack because you covered the first honor out. Now let's talk about covering the last honor out, okay? So the declarer plays the queen this time and you play low. Well, lo and behold, your partner had the ace. If the declarer gets back in the dummy to play the jack, you would cover the king this time. And then your partner also has the 9 over there. So you're actually going to get every trick in the suit. So by covering the first one, you lost one trick, but by not covering, you got all 3 tricks. By the way, it doesn't even matter where the declarer leads from. Let's say, for example, the declarer leads the queen and goes low, low, and your partner wins the ace. Well, now let's say the declarer just decides to lead from his hand up to the dummy. He plays a low card, your partner plays the 9. If the declarer plays the jack, you win your king and your partner wins the 10. If the declarer ducks, you duck and you'll also win the king. All of this comes about because you followed the rule of last honor out. If you had covered the first honor, you would have given a trick to the declarer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next hand. Okay, now in this hand, as you can see, the declarer does have the ace. So you're wondering, well, does last honor out still work in this case? And the answer is yes, it does. So first of all, let's consider if you cover the first one. If it goes queen and you don't believe the last honor out rule and you cover with the king, now declarer plays the ace and your partner plays low. Notice that your partner's 10 is sandwiched between declarer's 9, 8 and the dummy's jack. So now if the declarer plays the 9, if your partner ducks, the declarer is going to duck and the declarer brings in the whole suit. If your partner plays the 9, if the declarer plays the 9, your partner plays the 10, well, now he can play the jack from the table and now his 8 is good. So as you can see, by playing the first, by covering that first honor, you enabled the declarer to pick up the entire suit. But now let's think about the last honor out rule. If the declarer plays the queen and you play low because you're following last honor out, the declarer quite naturally is going to play low and he wins this trick. But now no matter what he does next, your side's going to win. If he plays the jack, you're going to follow the rule of last honor out and you'll cover with the king, declarer wins the ace. Now your partner's 10 is set up. If instead of playing the jack, he plays a low card, well, there's no reason for you to do anything else but second hand low. And the declarer is going to be forced to play the ace to win the trick, because if he plays the 8, your partner wins the 10. But if he plays the ace, your king is set up. All of this comes about because you followed the rule of last honor out in terms of your cover. Okay. I probably should have used, I think this gave further examples of why that worked. Yeah, so we can go past that one. Okay. Now, once again, you here in this case, remember I was telling you about when you don't split honors? You don't split honors when the hand behind you has 2 higher and 1 lower. Well, in this case, you have 2 higher and 1 lower in the dummy, so you don't follow the rule of last honor out. You have completely trapped the queen and the jack. So if he plays the queen, obviously you play the king. You try to exit from your hand with some other suit, and then if the declarer plays the suit again, your 10 and king are there. So we don't follow the last honor out rule here because you've got all the honors surrounding the dummy. And it's the same reason why if you were holding dummies cards, you wouldn't split. Okay. All righty. So now let's go to the next one. Okay. So now what we have here is the dummy has the jack. But once again, there are 2 honors there. 10 is considered to be an honor for our purposes. So we follow the rule of last honor out as the one you cover. That means you don't cover the jack. It goes low, low, and partner will win the queen. Well, now if the dummy tries playing the 10, that's the last honor out. You would cover the king, declare plays the ace, and now your partner's 9 sets up. Of course, if the declare gets out with the 8, we'd have absolutely no reason to contribute our king at that point. Go back to second hand low. But once again, I would also point out to you that if you don't follow the rule of last honor out, the way the trick's going to go is jack, king, ace, low. And now, as you can see, the declare can now lead up to the 10-8. Well, now your partner's going to have to play the queen. If he plays the 9, the declare is going to play the 10. But no matter what your partner does, now the declare is going to win an additional trick in the suit because you didn't play last honor out. By covering that first honor, you enabled the declare to make 2 tricks in the suit, and he was only ever able to make 1. But if you would follow the rule of last honor out, you would have restricted 1 trick. Okay. And as you can see in this example, it's going to be a similar thing. Jack of diamonds is played from the table. It goes low, low into your partner's king. Well, now, no matter how the declare plays the suit from here, if the declare leads towards the 10, your queen and 9 are surrounding the 10. And of course, if the declare plays the 10, you follow the last honor out rule because you can see that you're setting up your own 9. And of course, if the declare played low, you just set up your 9, which will be enough to drive out the declare's ace, and that'll do it. Okay. All righty. Now, this example, once again, it's one of our exceptions to last honor out, and I will repeat the rule. It's a parallel rule when you don't split your honors. You may recall earlier I told you you don't split your honors if there's 2 higher and 1 lower behind you. You just play low and hope for the best. Well, now you're the one who has 2 higher and 1 lower, so you don't play last honor out in this case. You just cover whatever it is that he does. Because as you can see, when you have 2 over and 1 under, if he plays his top honor, you cover it, and that sets up your queen 9. And if he plays low, then you play your 9, and that will be sufficient to set up your queen and your king. So as you can see, last honor out rule works very nicely, and it's sort of a parallel structure to, well, when is the exception to last honor out? The exception to last honor out is similar to the exception of don't split your honors. You don't split your honors when you can see 2 higher and 1 lower behind you, and you don't play last honor out when you have 2 higher and 1 lower behind the card that's being played. So those rules have sort of a nice similarity to them, a nice symmetry to them, and that might help you to remember. Okay, and that is my presentation on second-hand play.
Yay.
Well, thank you. I can hear you.
Does anybody have any questions for Scott?
Questions, everybody?
No. Everybody, I just want you to know that Scott's lecture is recorded and will be available along with the handouts and the examples on the unit website. So anyway, thank you so much, Scott. This was great.
That was terrific, Scott.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing
Thank
all of you
you.
real soon at the club and at the tournaments. I hope it's going to be a while before the tournaments. We'll get there yet, especially the NABC.
Thank
Here.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Thank you
You
very
too.
much. Scott.
Enjoyed.
Enjoy.
Bye,
It was great.
everybody. Bye.